What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. We here. I'm a little bit late. I'm gonna tell you why, child. Let me go ahead and take this. Here I am. Here I am. I'm here with y'all. It's Belle Collective. It's season 1. It's episode 6. Whew, I plan to be here a few minutes earlier, but I was late working today. This is like not my normal Saturday, and then anyway, I got over here late, so I had to real quick, get everything set up. But we're here now. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we're gonna get on into this episode. Episode started with, our new favorite little one, on the scene. Chase. Chase is over here doing addition. His mama said, "What's 22 plus 10?" He said, "That's easy. It's 32." And I said, little Chase is over here learning how to add because he got all this property inheritance. He got to know, how to count his money. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Chase and his little cute self. I love these little and a lot of them do it. Married to Medicine does it. Real Housewives of Atlanta do it. I like when they have these little moments, with the family and we can see the kids and such. So yeah. We get a chance to see Kayla doing her thing. She's over in her studio coaching the people. She's a model coach. And so, we get a little, insight to what Kayla's doing. And I like that too, because it helps us know these ladies a little bit better, even if it's just a little tidbit. We know, Stormi is the star of the show. Some of us are having a hard time, coming to terms with that, but that's what it is. So let's go, get on over here. Tiffany. This is one unpleasant lady. I'm sorry. And I'm going to try not to base my opinion solely on the fact that I don't care for this lady. And then, I'm going to try not to be mean. So, as nice as I can be, when talking about these ladies. So, Tiffany gets a text message. It's not a text directly, it's a group text. Stormi is having an event over her estate. She's inviting the Bells over, for a little getaway. Come collect the bells as it, stands. We know Stormi and Tiffany. Last time we seen them, they was fighting down to the Black History, Black Excellence Building Institute. Um, History of Black Something Institute. It was supposed to be a lesson in, blackness, but it ended up just being, blackness in other ways, like carrying on and cussing each other out, fussing with each other. But that's kind of why we came over here too. Aside from the excellence, we like the mess. And this mess here between Stormi and Tiffany is quite entertaining. We want a little bit of drama over here, and these two are definitely providing the drama. So Tiffany, calls her friend Amber and lets her, girl, did you get the text message? Because I got the text message. And Stormi invited me over to her house, child. And the last time we seen each other over at the Black History, Black Excellence Institution, things didn't go so well. So Amber's like, well, that's a good thing. How you feeling about it? Because, you and Stormi do need to have a conversation at some point and try to squash whatever this is, resolve this issue. So she says she feeling good about it, child. And, we going to see, because is she really feeling good about it, or is she looking for another opportunity to show her ass? I'm going to go with the later of the two, but, I'm just over here running my mouth based on my opinions. Fumi. Fumi is, she done already told us she won another house. She back from Fashion Week, and she done brought her husband over to this house to look at, what the future could possibly be for the two of them. And he was like, what the hell? This is a mansion. What are we talking about here? How much is this? Before he even walks in, he wants to know how much. I mean, I feel like Fumi as much as I like Fumi. Girl, if the man is going to be responsible for paying the mortgage on this mansion, I feel like how much is a very good question, and where we should start. Ask little Chase over there. We got to know our numbers. And so the numbers ain't numbering for him, and he ain't even walked in there. I feel like it's a beautiful home, but I also feel like I would have to come in there and change things. And so for 2.5 million, I would not like to have to come in there and do like a whole lot of remodeling, and refurbishing of things. Um, but I don't know what her taste is, but I'm feeling like her taste is probably more modern than that. But it is a beautiful home. Um, her sister, I think that's her sister. I think that's her sister, the realtor. Anyway, she said it's sitting on 20 acres. Now, when she said 20 acres, I was like, oh, well, now this 2.5 million doesn't sound so bad, even still. I wonder though if it would be smarter, like to just buy some acres, because Stormy is over there building a home for her mother for 400,000. So maybe Fumi, you would do better to buy some acres and then build your home there, and then you don't have to like tear down things and remodel things or what have you when you get in there. Anyway, he's not feeling it, and Fumi says she make money. She says she is six-figure influencer. So, the coin is not, the issue necessarily. She just wants the coin to be his coin and not her coin. When I look at these homes, these really enormous mansions, She by Sheree, Shea Chateau, and all of the things. There's lots of maintenance, that's involved in maintaining a $2.5 million home. So I think Fumi is being realistic. I do not. I think that she needs to have a conversation with her husband, and they can meet somewhere in the middle. I understand her wanting more space, but 2.5 million, does he have it like that? Because it don't seem like he do. Even if he got it, he feels like this is too much. This ain't in the budget. We can't spend all our money in this house, and this house is running us, and we're not getting a chance to enjoy it. And by us, I mean him, because it don't seem like Fumi is interested in paying any of the bills around there. So I don't know. Like, I'm not in their marriage. So I think Fumi is just acting spoiled right now, and I want it, and I want it, and I want it, and I want it. And I think she will get what she wants. Maybe she's strategizing, like, let's take him to the $2.5 million home on 20 acres. And then, the next home we go to will be a $1.5 million home on, say, 7 acres. And then he'll be more agreeable. And I mean, that way he won't say no to the house that she really wants. So hopefully there's a strategy here, and it doesn't involve them pouring all their money into a home and not having any generational wealth. Although with 20 acres, child. Um, Stormy. Stormy is receiving a Woman of the Year award. She said it was from Lennox and Parker. I don't know who that is. She's being interviewed and doing a photo shoot. Her interviewer is Crystal XO. And I know Crystal XO is not a YouTuber for her career, but she does have a YouTube channel. And, we review a lot of the same shows, over here on OWN. I don't know if Crystal is reviewing Belle Collective, but I would imagine she is, since she's sitting over here on this sofa with Stormy. So, I mean, it's a lovely thing. To be honored for your hard work. I think based on what Stormy has accomplished and how she has shared the ups and downs of being in business and how much hard work it takes and all the stress involved. I'll be looking for the article because I find it interesting, to see how people's businesses thrive and what they went through to get to their success. So shout out to Stormy, Woman of the Year, and shout out to Crystal XO for, being over here on the show in front of the camera. I mean, not like in front of the camera on her channel, but over here big timing on OWN. So Stormy lives in Huntsville. So the ladies have to sprinter their way over there. I think it's a 3-hour ride. So Stormy gets these ladies in a sprinter. And first question, what the world is Amber wearing? Why is she dressed like a solid gold dancer? You gonna be in 3 hours on this sprinter in that outfit that's, it's not a ball gown, but it's definitely a formal gown to go over here to Stormy's house. Fumi is giving high fashion. I seen that snakeskin outfit she was posting on her page for Fashion Week. So she's giving this outfit all it's got to give. It looks very cute on her though. Like, it's just, When the season started, Stormy said she likes her personality because she's her authentic self and she allows um other people to be their authentic selves, and I get that. She's just a fun time, seems like. She's on the van telling these ladies about how she went to go see this 14,000 square foot home. And they was like, home? That's a mansion. She said, yeah, child. It's sitting on 20 acres and it's 2.5 million. And my husband trying to act like he ain't trying to do it. But that's what we going to do, though, because that's what I want. And Tiffany's like, girl, I understand, child, because I want what I want when I want it to. Yeah, that's the type of energy she's giving. Kayla said, I can only imagine, child, because I'm not in any position to be spending 2.5 on no house. Honestly, I don't know how old Fumi is, but I feel like these ladies are in the age bracket where you do take those type of leaps and go ahead. You know, they're not they have children in the home. Tiffany is over here trying to have more children. Kayla got four. Amber is over here storing up as many eggs as she could store up because she's approaching 40, I believe. But or before she turns 40. You don't want to wait too long to be storing up your eggs. Anyway, I feel like this is the era of your life where you do that. You know what I'm saying? Where you invest in those type of properties. So yeah, Amber said just because you got it don't mean you need to spend it. Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? But don't be counting my coins, girl. I have a two-parent household over here. You are a single woman. So, how we see our monies is different, you know. So um Amber has a call from her, wherever she is doing her doctor business at, and they said, her hormones levels is very good. She's primed for some more eggs. I think she said they have 14. So she, after this little get together over at Stormy's house tomorrow, she got to go down to the doctor's office because they're going to retrieve some more. And I'm sure they try to get as many as they can, through the process. She talked about if it doesn't work, then she'll have to do it again. And it doesn't look like she's going to have to do that, even though, she's been through, the hormonal roller coaster that she's been on. It seems like her IVF treatment was successful. So, she got to do the shot today and then tomorrow she going to go in there and they're going to see how many more eggs. So I'm happy that she doesn't have to, I'm happy that this is a successful treatment for her and that she doesn't have to do it again and go through all the emotions of not, being successful at it the first time. And nobody, I think, wants to get on that emotional roller coaster that hormones be putting you through. So, yeah. Congratulations, Amber. Um, so Tiffany is talking about how, she just hopes that she's received well because her and Stormy, didn't in their last engagement with each other on the best of terms. And so she's looking to, take her best energy. She over here taking her best energy and her open mind. I don't think she has any good energy. So, I mean, I guess she's giving it the best that she got, child. And she said, last time she seen Kayla, her and Kayla had a little tiff over, Kayla was like, I was just asking questions. And Tiffany was like, yeah. And then I felt a way when I came out the restaurant and you was on the phone with Stormy. And she was like, yeah, because I was trying to find out what was really going on with this mop. This seems like the mop conversation has traveled into, another situation. And I'm just trying to see how, what the heck is going on with the whole mop. And Tiffany was like, well, girl, I thought, you was on a mission for Stormy to, I don't know what the secret mission would be, to get information, I suppose. I don't know. It seems stupid. Tiffany thinks people are thinking about her when they really ain't thinking about her, because Kayla is not. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna eat these shrimp and go home and find out what the hell is going on with this mop. But Kayla said, that's not who I am. I'm not somebody with a diabolical plan. I was just curious and, asking questions. And Amber then says in her confessional, which I know they do the confessionals afterwards, but I'm not still seeing like what Amber's issue is with Kayla. You know what I'm saying? Kayla and Kylan, they squash whatever situation they have, and Kaylin says she get it now. Like, she didn't told some jokes that people didn't think was funny. She has learned her lesson. And yeah, Amber said, I don't know, because what did she say? She said, I have to, the jury is still out on Kyla, basically. And Kayla. I don't want to keep saying her name wrong. Um, but she said, but she doesn't think for herself. Now remember, Amber is one of the Jesus Christ girls over there being led by Tiffany. So, I feel like she could come crazy when she wants to. She came at Fumi in the beginning like, "Oh my god, you're so short." Fumi was like, "Not on my best day I'm 6 feet tall, honey. It don't matter. 4'9", 5 foot, but really, I got 6 feet worth of personality." Um, Fumi is unbothered and she got her own shit going on. I feel like they think Kayla is weak. And her saying that she doesn't have her own mind is another one of those disrespectful digs. Because are you saying that because, she got married so young and she's just out figuring out? Kayla does a very good job of speaking up for herself. I will say that, in this environment, because she could shrivel up. But I guess she's like, I'm not used to having a bunch of girls around and I'm not about to give a shit about that now. Platform will definitely be a good look for her business. And it seems like everybody over here, um, they on point with being prepared, being ready. Even Sonetta with her pretty self sitting in the background, and her and Kayla have formed a bond. Sonetta is the nice friend. Um, she's a friend of. She's not a full Belle. I'm wondering, and like I said before, I think it's okay to have friends of, and just kind of, that way if she gets upgraded to a full Belle, she we know her. It's not like them bringing some strange person in, and she has relationships with everyone. But she's Switzerland child. She ain't on nobody's side. But she did ask Kayla how she was doing. She was over there crying down to the Galentine's party, and she said, Sonetta is somebody who has been good to her. And I did see a digital clip. You know how they have on OWN has their digital, the ones that they don't show on the show, which this one was fine. But it was a date night, girls' night out with Funmi, Sonetta, and Kayla. And it made me feel like Fumi is definitely coming in to a relationship with Kayla as a big sister. She even was talking about Kayla having this relationship, with this new older man. And her opinion is like, he's a nice guy. He seems to um, want Kayla to have her own voice. He doesn't, from what we can see now. She even talked about, because Kayla brought him over to Stormi's event. Like, Kayla, you just got here and you're already bringing this man on TV. But that's part of her storyline. So, there's that. And, for me, it's like, it's okay. They're new. She was like, now next year, if she's still bringing this nigga around to everything, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, he doesn't have to be involved in everything, but the relationship between these three women, it was very friendly. And I feel like Sonetta is the part of the Jesus Christ girls over there, led by Tiffany, but Fumi is not. So she's independently thinking on her own without a leader. She's dealing with what she got going on in her house. And she seems to, though, like I said, Sonetta's very nice. So they seem to be forming a bond, which makes things quite even. Amber is the only one over here struggling with, who her loyalty lies to. I would say, let your loyalty lie with your money. Amber has a long-standing relationship. She lives in Birmingham. Stormi live in Huntsville. So, she brought this platform over here for y'all to shine, because we wouldn't be watching without Stormi. Not at least in the beginning. She's the one that, made this happen, for sure, for sure. So, yeah. Tiffany told Kayla, like, it's all good, they all good, but she gonna be watching her. And Kayla was like, well, I'll be watching you too, bitch. As you should. You see, she don't know how to act. She's kind of mean. She told her, yeah, your friend was coming out of pocket. And Tiffany had to apologize for that because she was coming out of pocket and she was being mean. um Tiffany's like, should I talk to Stormy, when I get there? Like, and Fumi's like, yeah, I think you definitely need to talk to her. And she was like, so I should just walk in and like have the conversation. And Amber's like, how about we walk in and see what the vibe is before you, like, start with that. Let's just walk in, see what's going on, and then we will y'all can figure out when to have your discussion or whatever. So let's see, where are we at? When they walk, oh, Stormy's estate is lovely, of course. She's got horses. The lady's got to take a golf cart up to the main house. um I don't know how many acres Stormy has. I know there's a lot. But the ladies pull up on their golf carts, and Stormy has someone outside serving champagne. So they can get out of the car and immediately, yes, ma'am. She set it out for them, for sure, for sure. Everybody walked in the door and, gave hugs. There was a really odd energy between Tiffany and Stormy, of course. They kind of leaned in and didn't lean in. Stormy is in her confessional talking about she could have kept that puss ass hug. And both of y'all was kind of giving weird energy, I think. You didn't really want to hug her, and so she didn't know what to do. So yeah, it was both of y'all. She can't carry the hug, the puss ass hug badge out by herself. Sorry, somebody left my dog outside. I mean, let him outside, and he has to be heard. So when they get in, Stormy has a nice spread set out. Um, they're gonna do this photo shoot, and did I get the picture of Stormy and there was a picture of Stormy and Kayla. Let me see. I might didn't do it. I told y'all I was over here rushing. And I mean, I don't need the photo in order to have the conversation, but let's see. Let's see. No, I don't have it. So anyway, Stormy has this photo shoot planned for them. And she's not telling them why. Just, we're gonna have a photo shoot. They all have their little suitcases or what have you, so they knew what was about to happen. They weren't completely blindsided by the whole photo shoot thing. So she's like, y'all can, she got a little charcuterie table set up so they can have a little something with their champagne while they're getting ready. And her and Kayla take a sidebar. Kayla tells her pretty much what happened on the Sprinter van and how her and Tiffany had a conversation about how things happen with their little lunch or what have you. And she said she told me she was gonna be watching me, and Stormy said she gonna be watching you and she could see straight through me. The problem that Stormy is having, and they keep saying it's over a mop, it's over a mop, it's over a mop. It's not over a mop. It is the disrespect and the talking down to. And Stormy doesn't honestly strike me as the type of person that wouldn't mop. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, it's just because they keep making this thing about a mop. This is them, in their photo shoot, everybody giving face. And I guess we'll have to wait to find out what this photo shoot is about. But it's not about a mop. It's about the disrespect. And I feel like if Stormy was over Amber's house or over Fumi's house, and Fumi start cleaning up, I don't think Stormy would have any problems helping to, how when your host is cleaning up and you're like, can I help you with anything? And you start helping and tighten things up for them where things are spread out. Like she said, picking up cups and plates and things. That's, I feel like, what you do. And I don't think she's above mopping, but I'm going to tell you what, if I come to your event, I'm not mopping your floor. So you didn't say it because you thought anything about a mop. You were trying to sun her, and she knows that. And so now, it is what it is. And that came right off the heels of you saying that they came over there and they ruined your event. Even Sonetta was like, I mean, I know your event was ruined. How? How did their event get ruined? Their event did not get ruined. They had plenty of fun with their plastic cups between each other's legs while they, pretended like they were giving their husbands and significant others a blowjob, for God's sake. Because that's what it was. They was doing nasty little games, at the Christian married people party. So, her energy towards Stormi is, I feel like she is the HBIC around there in Birmingham. And Stormi not about to come into her town and not pay respect to the head of the, Jesus Christ Girls group, Bible study group. She's related to Ricky Smiley. Her best friend is the wife of the mayor. Like, she has status. Her and her husband have a business, several businesses. Because they named a couple of different things. It's not just the choose your husband, choose your wife t-shirts. They have, full working businesses, event space. That's a good business to have. So nobody's slighting Tiffany, with her accomplishments, but why are you competing with Stormi? It just doesn't make sense. Even the way when she came back from the first pre-launch party, she was like, Stormi to her husband. Now her event was nice. She got her thing together. Yeah, you was clocking. You was clocking how she was doing it. And I'm not mad at that because, you a new kid on the block. But you would think for somebody who was interested in having business, a Stormi would be somebody that you would want to get to know rather than piss her off. And you're never going to learn anything. And Stormi doesn't strike me as the type that would be the gatekeeper of information. You know what I'm saying? She probably tell you what she went through, this where she made a mistake, this where, things turned around. You would never be her because we all different, and so you can only be, who you are, and you're Tiffany, and that's unfortunate because your personality stinks. What else was happening over here? They really came in and just got to the business after they did the photo shoot. Stormi had dinner and everything set up, so she was like, "Y'all can come over here, and we get changed if you want to. We're going to come on down here and have a seat and have something to eat." So they all start coming down. She has a nice setup. She's got some sound bowls off to the side. And Tiffany looked down and somebody had put Stormi's seat right next to hers. So she thought in her mind, maybe Stormi is sitting next to me because she wants to like have a side conversation to hash things out. That's not it. Now, mind you, when she walked in the house, she said her energy felt right. My energy ain't feeling right just being in this lady's house. And she had to carry her, holy oil. I carry holy oil wherever I go because I don't know. Because you need some oil in your purse to get Jesus to stick to you, girl. I don't know why you would be carrying holy oil, but it is what it is. I don't know that it makes you, child. Don't let me get on this lady and whatever it is. If she need her holy oil, she should most definitely carry it. But what's her name? Stormi came in here and seen her name next to Tiffany, and she's asked to trade with Amber, who was sitting at the end of the table, because she was like, I'm claustrophobic. I don't like to be in between. So, Amber, will you switch with me? Amber chose that seat specifically because she said because she's left hand, but I feel like Stormi chose that seat not so much to be away from Tiffany that far necessarily. I think she's just getting to know these other ladies, and she didn't want to ask Sonetta or Fumi to move. So she chose Amber because, her and Amber, she knows her the best. They have a closer, real relationship. So anyway, she grabbed her plate and stuff and moved over to the corner. And Tiffany kind of snickled a little bit because Tiffany said she thought that Stormi moved because she didn't want to sit next to her. Tiffany, I feel like you're right. I feel like Stormy moved because she didn't want to sit next to you. She might be claustrophobic and all of that, but I think she came out there and was like, "Oh hell no, I'm not gonna sit here next to that girl." And I'm saying that because that's how I would have felt. I would have been like, "Absolutely not." I mean, I invited her here. I'm not gonna sit here and make fake ass small talk. And if she pissed me off, I don't want to like have to punch her in her teeth because she has a capacity to make me feel like violent. So yeah, I'm gonna move my chair. And so then the conversation switched over to Tiffany snickled and giggled, and Stormy was like, "What are you laughing at? What's funny?" And she was like, "You're funny. I'm laughing at you." She's like, "Why? Because I'm claustrophobic?" And she was like, "No, because you moved your seat. Like I figured you just didn't want to sit next to me." No, like in real life, she can't be like, "Well, that's it too." But no, I'm claustrophobic, and it turned into a back and forth. And I will say this: I understand how Stormy felt. Stormy was probably like, "I'm gonna invite this lady to my house, but it's gonna be zero tolerance over here." And the first thing she do, she look at me sideways. She got to get the fuck out of here. And I think that's what happened. So Tiffany is laughing, and Stormy said, "You laugh at a lot of things." And Tiffany says something like, "And I'm gonna keep laughing." And Stormy said, "Do you want to go home?" I'm like, "Dang, Stormy, you didn't have to go straight to that. Like, do you want to go home?" But that's where we're at. And she's like, "Yeah, I can go home. I can go home now. I can leave now." And Stormy was like, "Well, please do." So, they literally just sat down at the dinner table, and Stormy is already kicking the lady out. And I'm like, "Dang, Stormy, she couldn't get through like just a little bit of conversation." Unfortunately, no. Um, I have this picture of Kayla and Amber that I obviously didn't click on it. Let me see if I got it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm over here taking you through the back, stuff that should have been done before I came over here, but charge it to my head, not my heart, because I was definitely rushing trying to get these graphics up. Um, no, let me go ahead and send it to myself while I'm talking about it. Anyway, the back and forth, turns into a conversation about this daggum mop. This freaking mop that they can't stop talking about. And it's so annoying because, like I said before, this has nothing to do even with a mop. This has everything to do with Stormy and what's her name? Stormy and Tiffany not being able to get along with one another. I don't think it's not necessarily like I said. Stormy feels like Tiffany was trying to talk down to her, and Tiffany does that. I feel like she was talking down to Stormy. She was also talking down to Fumi. When she told her, "Are you checking coats?" And I was like, "Girl, checking coats? What is you talking about?" Here it is. Let me get that one. It's just going to take a second. I'm going to send it to myself and then we can, continue the conversation. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel while I'm trying to get my life together. It's the thing to do. .com. Okay. Send it. So, yeah. Anyway, Tiffany and Stormy, I think, they're just never gonna be cool because Tiffany is determined to act like she believes that any of this is about a mop in the first place. We know that's not what it is. So by the time Tiffany and Stormy, she asked her to leave. Tiffany gets up. What the heck? Tiffany gets up because, obviously she's been asked to leave. Amber is trying to, come on guys, let's don't do this. Can we just like get back? It was a misunderstanding. She didn't know you were claustrophobic, and I didn't hear her laugh, but apparently she laughed, and it was a misunderstanding. Can we just get back to dinner? And Stormy is like, oh yeah, well, before we get back to dinner though, I would like to know, like, what's really tea, Tiffany? What's really up with you, for real? Because obviously, she playing like she doesn't understand. I don't understand. It's an honor to serve. I don't know why you think you're above serving. I don't think that's what it was at all. Stormy, I don't feel like she was acting like she was above serving, but for me, if somebody asked me to leave, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave. Tiffany didn't want to do that. She wants to go back and forth and tell the lady like how she needs to you need to get some therapy and figure out why you're so upset by a mop. And Stormy's on, you need to get the fuck out. Get your friend out of my house. Get the bitch out. Get the hoe out. That's where Stormy was. I was like, she has absolutely lost it. But like I said, I wish that she could have held it together, not to get to this place, because nothing even happened. She went from, like I said, what are you laughing at, to are you ready to go home? I don't know what was going on during the photo shoot. I guess they just don't, oil and water, they just don't mix. And if you have somebody in your house like that you're not like bonding with, the dog tried to tell y'all that this lady was not an agreeable. She was on it all the way on the other side. But at the same time, we gotta like do this TV show, and we know that we can't necessarily be excluding people. Like at her work, I get it. At her home, like, you had everybody over there, you can't invite everybody but Tiffany. And Tiffany went over there with a chip on her shoulder. Like, I think she's determined to bring Stormy down a notch. And I don't know why, because Stormy's not even giving that energy. We know she has a lot of money. And I feel like when you have a lot of money, there's certain shit you're just not going to do. So quit playing with me about, acting like it's about mopping a floor. It's about the disrespect. And I think Tiffany is very clear on how she was, being disrespectful. But she wanted to try to make it seem like Stormy thinks she's above mopping the floor. I didn't see you ask Sonetta to mop the floor. I didn't see you ask, well, Fumi left, but this girl Amber went over here to work for you. And who is it? What's the hierarchy? Sonetta, she's a friend of, so, and I think she's just a regular girl that is fun to have around. Tiffany, she's a member of the Jesus Christ Bible Study girls. And, so she's over here willing to do things for Tiffany in that matter. I told her I will host the party. And again, like I said last time, I feel like Tiffany meant to throw that party and have nobody but Amber there. She was trying to control the narrative. And then Stormy and Fumi came, and I don't know how she feels like they ruined her night, they ruined her event, but it was not ruined. So she's just looking for an excuse to have an issue, Tiffany, I believe. And Stormy is not falling for the bullshit. So after these two go back and forth, and she's told to get the F out and kick rocks and shake a bone, I don't care how you leave, shake a bone and get the hell on. Stormy, are you quoting Miss Wanda? Did she say that to Mattel or somebody? I'm pretty sure I heard that from Miss Wanda. But yeah, so Tiffany, you got to go. And now Amber is feeling some type of way, because Amber's feeling sad because she cares so much about her friends that she just can't fathom them having this type of beef. You know what I'm saying? It just hurts her to her soul that, her two really good friends are not going to be able to get along. So she's sitting on this couch crying. And I want you to see who came to console her, which I wonder, like, girl, you sitting over here crying. I'm going to chalk it up to the hormones. I don't think she's that emotional over it, like under normal circumstances, but because, she's shot up full of hormones, then she's, probably easily emotional. But the person that came to console you is the same person that you're over here saying she don't have her own mind. And I feel like that was genuine right there. Like she felt bad that you felt bad and that you feel like you're in the middle. So you still in your confessionals talking shit. So I want to see what Kayla is actually doing besides being immature. Um, I said before, I feel like Kayla, just because of her dynamic with her husband, was being raised in that household with her children. So there's probably a lot of, even though she's a mom, there's probably a lot of sibling energy. And that boy got some, think he funny. And I think her and her son be over here thinking they're funny, having an immature sense of humor. And now that she's in a space with grown women, she's seeing like that may not be, the best ticket. I think Kayla's used to playing with her kids while her old ass husband was over there. Now she's got an old ass boyfriend. I guess we'll get to see more about that. But yeah, I'm like, Kayla is over here defending, consoling Amber after Amber is talking shit behind her back. So after Miss Thing was kicked out, she gets back in the Sprinter van or whatever. Whoever's taking her, the car service that's taking her back home. Of course, she calls her husband to tell him, I am leaving Stormi's house now. And he was like, oh, how was it? And her and that psycho ass laugh. She kept doing this laugh. Girl, I can't take you seriously. And now I know you are the joke. It's giving that whole, unbothered type scenario, except she's very bothered. And she kind of, her slip is showing just based on the things that she was saying to her husband. This is her issue with Stormi. And I feel like her husband, they've had this conversation before. She said, Stormi, because she has a lot of money, that's where she gets all her confidence or something from. And like to say that Stormi is over here like lording her money over people. And I haven't heard that. I haven't seen it. Like I've said, I feel like she got a lot of money based on the property and stuff that her parents have. She seemingly probably grew up not broke anyway. You know what I'm saying? So she even said in her interview with Crystal XO that Crystal asked her who were her role models or, her mentors maybe. And she said she didn't have any because she said back home, and I'm guessing that's the town where her mother and father live. She said that being a hairstylist was something that was considered in service and not something that you were inspired to be. And I'm like, well, you are a service, but I guess there's not a lot of respect for the hair industry. I bet you they respect it now that she over here on her estate. So surprise, surprise. And I'm glad she didn't let people discourage her, but her husband says she just thinks she want to boss people around, or she thinks she running somebody. Not once have I seen her try to run anyone. Not one time did I see her try to run anyone. When she was over at Fumi's house, she was respectful and, she was a good guest. When she came over to Tiffany's event, I didn't see her trying to run anything. She said she was picking up, you know what I'm saying? You were just upset because you wanted to be the star of that moment. And, I guess you were, to be honest. You had that moment with Funmi, but you were the star of that moment. You decided to, shit on people in the process. So, yeah, this is the problem. She keeps on bringing up Stormi's money. Stormi has not said not one thing about money. Nothing. Funmi has talked about Chanel bags and Louis Vuitton shoes and, referenced, all of the fashion and all of the things. She's said, and I'm not to knock Funmi, but I'm just saying, she said she was a 6-figure girl over here getting paid on all her platforms. She said that. So, and she's about the only one that brought up money, really. But you keep talking about Stormi and her money and how she just needs to be humbled. And okay, girl. So I feel like she's projecting. I feel like Stormi has the lifestyle, and not even some. Well, yeah, the lifestyle, but also the attention. And Stormi gets a lot of hate out here, and maybe she's banking on that. I don't know if the hate is because I don't want to say her name, but over there on Huntsville, I, I don't know that that's the reason why. Maybe I feel like the millimeter should have calmed down. Shit, at this point, she's not even on the public platforms like she was before. Besides her own social media, but yeah, this is her problem. They're thinking, or her and her husband have decided. Did they think because they had that whole viral wedding that she orchestrated? Because you're never going to convince me that this lady didn't get pregnant and orchestrate her own, surprise birthday, dinner, proposal, wedding all in one day. Uh, this was all her planning. So I feel like she thinks that we were supposed to know who she is. I didn't know nothing about that. I know she came over here and told us that she was planning a birthday for her husband, and he surprised her with a proposal and a wedding, and then they went home that night and she got pregnant. So yeah, girl, that story in itself makes me, that along with the dog, makes me feel some type of way about Tiffany. But Tiffany, yeah, I feel like she is definitely a hater. She's over there being envious because Stormi does have money. She did have, this collaboration with her brand with Lala. She is the first person to have $1 million sold on TikTok. Her accolades, now she's over here being Woman of the Year, and you are sitting in a Sprinter van on your way home without even a lamb chop. So that's how this episode ended. And next week, what is happening next week? Next week, Fumi and her husband have a little tiff. Seems like Fumi is giving you a little insight into her life. I think she's going to have to relax. She's going to have to relax. Fumi is acting spoiled. And I think her husband is putting his foot down because we're not going to spend all this money. We're going to have to figure out, how to be comfortable because he's comfortable in the house he got. So don't fool me, don't mess around and don't get no house out the deal. And then Stormi is planning another dinner. She's saying it's the last supper. I don't know how many episodes they're gonna have. I don't know if it's just gonna be 7 episodes. I did hear Carlos say there will be a reunion. So, and we know that this lady Tiffany is pregnant. So I'm sure she'll show up at the reunion with a baby bump or whatever. But yeah, that's all this episode. I want to be done with the mop. I will say that. I want to have, and Stormi, you can like throw people out and stuff if you haven't, come to an understanding about things. You have to be able to express yourself in a way that lets this lady know that she talks down to people and she had every intention of demeaning this lady. It wasn't about being humble or servitude or any of those things. So hopefully when we have this last supper, Tiffany and what's her name? Stormi. Tiffany and Stormi can come to an understanding where they at least agree to disagree or move forward, or all the things that they do over here at these reality shows where the ladies like have to sit down and have a ponderosa down to the dinner table. So yeah, like the video, y'all. Subscribe to the channel, and that's it. That's all. I ain't got no more. I'll talk to you later. Bye.